welcome you watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Akanksha Khajuria. First up this evening, we are tracking 6 stories for you. We will be, in fact, starting with the expose of Pakistan by India, by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, who has exposed Pakistan propaganda over Operation Sindur. Next, shocking admission that has come from Nepal as far as Pakistan is concerned. Then we'll also tell you about the Gurugram murder case in which several revelations have come to the fore. The obsession has there turned ugly, and we have the ground reports there from Gurugram in Haryana. Next up, we'll get you another story that is in fact coming in as far as Himachal Pradesh is concerned. Kangna's comment on flood has backfired. Kapil Sharma's cafe has come under attack in Canada, and the security around a comedian is now under the review in Mumbai. And finally, a massive new sanction looms large over Russia, and this time from the United States, as we are learning that we will break down what it could mean for India. And these are the stories that we're tracking for you this evening. Let's get started. In fact, let's start with India exposing Pakistan yet again. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has slammed foreign media for their reportage of Operation Sindur, challenging them to give one proof of the damage to Indian infra by the Pakistani strikes. He said that foreign media reported that Pakistan did this and did that, but images show damage done by Indian Air Forces on Pakistan bases. Now, it was precise, and no targets were missed, is what National Security Advisor has said. Watch this.
We have to develop our indigenous technology. Mention was made here of Sindur. We are really proud of it, not for necessarily what people perceive. That how much of an indigenous content was there. We are proud of it, that some of the best systems that worked. Whether it was our BrahMos systems, whether it was our integrated air control and command systems, whether it was our radars, whether it was the whole this of it that was being done at the battlefield surveillance about the position out there. We decided to have 9 terrorist targets in the crisscross of Pakistan. It was not on the border area something, which we thought were there this way. We missed none. We hit nowhere else except that. And it is also not that this was a very... It was precise to the point where we knew who is where. Entire operation was started at 5 minutes past 1 and was over at 28 minutes past 1. 23 minutes. Thereafter, a lot of things are said that this thing, foreign press and all these things, they said Pakistan did that and this. You tell me one photograph, one imagery. These days, these imageries are from the satellites all over the world. They are this thing. Which shows any Indian damage being done, even a glass pane having been torn. I don't know, only our forces will be knowing what's happening in this thing, but I am just telling, they brought out photographs, they wrote this thing, the New York Times put out this. Only imagery, they said 13 air bases of Pakistan now and before 10th May and after 10th May. Whether it was in Sargodha, or it was in Rahim Yar Khan, or it was in Chaklala, or it was in Rawalpindi, any of the places that there are 13 important air bases, including the Bellary, where they have got the AVAX, the control systems. Now, I'm not telling any of this thing. I'm only telling what the foreign media, on the basis of the imageries, have put the images in it. So we were able to achieve it. We are capable of doing that.
Let me go across to international affairs expert Dr. Nand Kishore. Thanks so much for speaking to Republic TV. Pakistan's lies have been exposed, and National Security Advisor has said that there's not even a single image to show that there was a damage to Indian infrastructure at all. Your reaction?
Yes, I think the National Security Advisor was on point. I think it's also important from the perspective that we live in an era of media narratives, and also we live in an era where AI dominates all the discourses to everything. And what he was essentially pointing out was very, very clear, whether it is New York Times or anyone, the type of talks that they were doing. But in reality, none of them were able to produce any evidences. In fact, there were quite a few independent researchers from other parts of the world who are very clearly telling the Western media that India has been exemplarily successful, whether it is Bahawalpur or whether it is the Noor Khan or any of the places that we are talking about. India has done precision attacks, and perhaps nobody would have been in a position to think this way. But unfortunately, none of the Western media was not in a position to believe. So I think he is also battling what we call as narratives. Narratives are very, very important in international relations. And these narratives, the negative narratives that they would want to perhaps put across to say that India also went through damage, I think pointedly what he was trying to hit back was very clear, that provide me an evidence. I am the National Security Advisor who was essentially part of Operation Sindur. I am absolutely okay to accept it. Now, at the same time, he was also telling that India is not the India that what you used to see maybe perhaps 10 years ago or 15 years ago. This is a changed India, a confident India, an India that has taken up the leadership role, and also an India that is much more confident of what it's doing. And it's also a very responsible India. India would not do anything that is reckless. But he is also, time and again, it's emphasizing on the type of precision and the success that we had, whether it is the question of the LET or whether it is Hizbul Mujahideen. He very clearly said that we have missed none, and we have been so clear about it. Perhaps if people would want to cross-verify them, they can check all these things. Number of people in Pakistan actually made videos of them, and they shared on their own social medias and many other things. So what National Security Advisor was telling was coming from the horse's mouth. If somebody else says something like that, we may not believe, or somebody else says that there is a different type of narrative that gets sets in. Unfortunately, we also have a situation more than the outsiders. We also have insiders talking about it. But here, he was very clearly talking about what India precisely did in those 13 air bases within 23 minutes of the operation, using India's indigenous technology. I apparently have written also the type of issue that Chinese have had since Operation Sindur. It has just exposed a whole network altogether. So it is very, very significant that we listening to Mr. Ajit Doval making it clear and also challenging the Western media that please get your facts correct. And we don't live in a post-truth world. We live in a world where facts still matter. I think that sums up what exactly he was trying to say.
Absolutely. So Pakistan has been exposed by India. In fact, Dr. Nand Kishore, stay on with us. We have another story. In fact, not just India, but Nepal too has exposed Pakistan's terror threat. Advisor to the president of Nepal has said that terrorist groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed are posing risk to India and potentially using Nepal as a transit point. Listen into what he said.
From 1969 to 71. The Khampa movement in Nepal, also referred to as the Khampa insurgency, was a significant episode in Nepal's historical involving Tibetan resistance fighters known as Khampas, who operated from Nepalese terrorists against Chinese forces in Tibet during 1960s and early 70s. The Khampa movement in Nepal was a complex interplay of regional resistance, Cold War geopolitics, the movement resolution through 1974 disarming operation facilitated by Nepalese army action and Dalai Lama's appeal effectively ended the Khampa insurgency.
Let me once again bring in Dr. Nand Kishore, International Affairs expert. You just saw the reaction coming in from Nepal. In fact, this is a huge embarrassment for Pakistan on a global stage, not just India, but Nepal has also exposed him, saying that now Pakistan is using them, their country as a terror den to basically transit to the country. And I'm sure our country is aware about this and working on it. Your reaction?
Yeah, I think what Mr. Sunil Thapa, advisor to Nepal President Ramchandra Podel, was essentially talking about is that using the Nepalese soil as a transition to attack India. I think this is so significant from the perspective that most of the time, a lot of strategic thinkers in India have been pointing out to India that India has not been in a position to manage its neighborhood, India's neighborhood first policy, what is it up to, and every sort of thing they were talking about. And here is a climate that's very startling. And for the first time, they're making this so clear. Sunil Thapa was just not mincing words, and he was simply telling. This was essentially in a seminar that was organized by the Nepal Institute for International Cooperation and Engagement, which is led by a good friend of us called Dr. Pramod Jaiswal. On the 9th of July, what he was telling is that Lashkar as well as Jaish, these two institutions, which have also been UN designated terrorist organizations, have been using Nepal as a launch point. That means a transit point, which for a very, very long time has been a case of concern, whether it is about the Indian Mujahideen and the operatives that we saw, Yasin and a number of other people who were also caught in the borders. In the same way, this has been reiterated again. India was talking about this for a very long time. Now this is coming out very, very clearly because invariably India believes that Lashkar is behind the Pahalgam attack in Kashmir, and the resistance front that we are talking about, essentially a Pakistani terrorist group, claimed responsibility about all these things. But these are all simple networks of Pakistan. Pakistan is used to this. Whenever there are UN designated organizations and they have to whitewash something, they will immediately put some of these organizations or terrorist organizations into proscribed list, and then subsequently allow them to come with new names or different names. And for the first time, we are seeing where someone like Sunil Bahadur Thapa, who holds a very, very important position of being an advisor to the president of Nepal, making it very clear that not anymore you can do this one and against India. That is much more important. They might be doing to many others, or they might be doing to their own region. Whatever, all said and done, this is very important that they are asserting and telling that you cannot use my land for this one. I think this is very important from India's perspective also. India has been able to tell, or India has been able to make Nepal to tell this. And it comes at a very significant point because Pakistan has been denying that there are no references, there are no such instances where we are using foreign soil for doing this one. It is the other way around, blaming India. But here is a very clear case where a third party, that means a country that is not immediately, doing all the time good things to India, or always speaking in favor of India, but very clearly making it clear to the international audience, saying that this is what Pakistan has been doing. This is what some of these organizations, which are blessed by the Pakistan government and the military, are doing this type of work for Pakistan in Nepal, and using Nepal as a transit country. I think this is significant, and I find it coming at a very important juncture. And today we see Ajit Doval speaking about it, and precision attacks to everything. It just only adds up to the type of indulgence that Pakistan does every now and then with regard to terrorism. And terrorism is its bread and butter, and they have been sponsoring terrorism for a very, very long time. So Pakistan will be called as a bluff in the international system.
Absolutely.
And for
Absolutely.
sure,
so Pakistan has been exposed not just by India but also by Nepal there. Thanks so much for speaking to Republic TV. Now shifting our focus to the state of Haryana, let's tell you about a shocking murder in Gurugram. A promising tennis player that has been killed by her own father. And now Republic has accessed exclusive details from the police investigation. Mother of Radhika Yadav has given a chilling statement to Gurugram police, calling the accused her own husband a possessive and obsessive man. From controlling who she speaks to ordering whether she can go to her training academy or not, Deepak Yadav is a man who was full of jealousy, and this is what the mother of a victim has said. His final trigger was a comment that had come from a villager who was alluding to him enjoying his daughter's money. In fact, he said that they were both fighting from the last 3 days, and then he snapped and killed her. Listen to what the eyewitnesses are saying.
हम मंदिर में थे। मंदिर से होने के बाद में हमने यहाँ बात करते हुए 3 लेडीज़ को मैं देखा, दीपक को, पत्नी को, वाइफ को, और 2 लेडीज़ और था। तो मैं ये देखा कि क्या बात कि हल्ला हो रहा था, तो बारिश हो रहा था, तो मैं फिर भी मैं रुक के मैं सुना, हाँ, तो मैं क्या बात हो गया, और कहीं अगर ज़्यादा बात तो नहीं है। फिर हमने आधा घंटा तक रुक के मैं यहाँ पे सुनने लगा कि बात क्या है। फिर इतने देर में आधे घंटा के बाद फिर दीपक निकला उधर से, पिस्टल लेके बोला हमने मार दिया।
अच्छा, आपके सामने हुआ है?
जी जी, सामने हुआ नहीं, लेकिन
उन्होंने आपके सामने निकल के बोला कि हमने मार दिया?
हाँ, वो सामान हाथ में था। अच्छा। उसके हाथ में था। फिर हम लोग फिर ये बातें अपने होने लगे, भाई क्यों मार दिया उसने, उसका लड़का भी आके क्यों मार दिया भाई, बच्चा आदमी से क्यों मार दिया, क्या बात हो गया, ऐसे जो उसको हटा से मार दिया। इतना दिन हो गया, कभी गलत चला नहीं, किसी से बात भी नहीं करता, इतना मीठा बच्चा इतना था, सीतारंग मियाँ बच्चा था, लेकिन किसी से बात भी नहीं करता।
कौन सीतारंग? कौन, दीपक के बेटे?
जी,
दीपक जी के बेटे।
हाँ जी, वो भी आए, तो उसने बोला क्यों मार दिया, अब कोई किसने गलत नहीं किया, क्यों मार दिया भाई, बोला हमें मार दिया।
तनु जी, कब से राधिका यहाँ पर आ रही थी, सिखा रही थी, उसने एकेडमी कब शुरू की?
सर दिन तारीख तो नहीं पता, एक लिए 1 महीना या 25 दिन कुछ ग्राउंड मतलब चलाया, उसके बाद में फिर चले गए।
क्या रेंट पे लिया था?
हाँ, रेंट पे लिया था।
ये तीनों कोट उनके हैं जो हम देख रहे हैं?
हाँ, ये तीनों कोट लिए थे सर।
कितने बच्चे आते होंगे सीखने के लिए?
सर अभी नई नई एकेडमी चालू करी थी, तो वो एक बेटी आती थी, एक बेटा आता था, तो मतलब सिखा के और अपने चले जाते। वो सोच रहे थे कि और बच्चे आएंगे तो फिर मेरा काम और बढ़ जाएगा, तो फिर उन्हें कुछ लगा होगा कि काम नहीं कुछ मतलब क्या बढ़ रहा, तो अपने फिर मतलब
डेली रोजाना आती थी?
हाँ, रोजाना आते थे।
अलग अलग बैच चलते थे, सुबह शाम, या सुबह आना शाम को नहीं आना, इस तरीके?
नहीं, दोनों टाइम,
सुबह शाम।
हाँ जी, बोलने चालने में बहुत अच्छा था, मतलब भैया करके बात करते थे कभी भी, मतलब ऐसे नहीं कि ओ क्या है, ऐसे कुछ भी नहीं, मतलब भैया इधर आ जाओ, मेरा काम कर दो, फिर चले जाओ बस।
And at a time when Himachal Pradesh is reeling from impact of cloud burst, landslide and flash floods, Kangana Ranaut has landed in a serious trouble for saying that she neither has a cabinet nor funds to help the flood-affected people of Himachal Pradesh, her own constituency. In fact, her statement has sparked a massive controversy, with locals questioning her responsibility to provide disaster relief. Locals also confronted Ranaut, questioning her delayed visit to the area. And meanwhile, Bharatiya Janata Party is in damage control mode. Party's President JP Nadda has once again stepped in to salvage the situation. First up, listen in to what Kangana Ranaut said. In fact, my colleague Tanisha spoke with the former Chief Minister of the state on this massive controversy that has unfolded there. Listen in.
ये डिजास्टर रिलीफ हो गया या डिजास्टर का जो काम हो गया,
देखिए सारी चीज को लेकर के मुझे लगता है कि बात करने की आवश्यकता बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है। सांसद होने के नाते वो फ्लड इफेक्टेड एरिया में आए और विजिट किया उनने, और विजिट करने के बाद वो अब गए हैं, और नड्डा जी का आना हुआ है, उनने बहुत एक्सटेंसिव दौरा किया है हमारे इलाके का जो फ्लड इफेक्टेड है, और हम लोग सब लोग मदद कर रहे हैं। हम उस पर फोकस्ड हैं इस वक्त काम करने के लिए, मदद करने के लिए। वो आई और आकर के लोगों से मिली हैं, लेकिन उससे पहले जाने की स्थिति थी नहीं, डैमेजेस इतने थे कि कनेक्टिविटी नहीं थी। इवन चीफ मिनिस्टर जो है वो भी आए और आकर के हेलीपैड से ही चले गए थे, क्योंकि आगे कनेक्टिविटी नहीं थी। तो इसलिए मुझे लगता है कि इन सारी चीजों को लेकर के अनावश्यक रूप से इट्स नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, आई थिंक कि भाई उसमें कोई बड़ा विषय कोई उठाने की आवश्यकता है। लेकिन चलो, अब जो उनकी ओर से जो आने का था वो आकर के मिल करके गई हैं बस।
Now shifting our focus, the investigation into the attack on comedian Kapil Sharma's cafe in Canada has intensified, and today a team of Mumbai police visited his residence. The security covered what we are learning could also be reviewed and heightened in Mumbai. And meanwhile, police team also arrived at his cafe in Canada and sealed the entire area. Watch this report.
Just days ago, comedian Kapil Sharma was celebrating the launch of his new venture, Caps Cafe in Surrey, British Columbia, a dream project meant to serve coffee, conversation and community. But that peaceful image was shattered early Thursday morning. At around 1:50 a.m. on July 10th, shots were fired at the cafe while staff members were still inside. Police arrived shortly after and confirmed that no one was injured, but the cafe's windows were riddled with bullet holes. The Surrey police say they are investigating the incident and examining possible links to prior threats. As of now, no motive has been determined. However, the banned Khalistani extremist group Babbar Khalsa International, through one of its operatives Harjeet Singh Ladi, has claimed responsibility. Ladi, listed by NIA as one of India's most wanted militants, alleged that the attack was retaliation for comments Kapil Sharma made, which he claims insulted Nihang Sikhs. On Friday morning, Caps Cafe posted an emotional statement on Instagram. They called the incident heartbreaking, but said they were processing the shock and not giving up. Further vowed to stand firm against violence. Back in Mumbai, police visited Sharma's Oshiwara residence. Security has been increased and the actor was questioned about any potential threats related to the incident.
यही है जो कपिल शर्मा घर, और कपिल शर्मा जो है 9th फ्लोर पर रहते हैं पूरे परिवार के साथ, और उनकी सुरक्षा का रिव्यू करने के लिए मुंबई पुलिस की टीम पहुंची हुई थी। मुंबई पुलिस टीम यहां पे सादे वर्दी में अंदर मौजूद है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से कनाडा में कैफे पे हमला हुआ उसके बाद कहीं मुंबई पुलिस एहतियातन यहां पे पहुंची हुई है और सुरक्षा का रिव्यू कर रही है। मुंबई पुलिस की टीम अंदर मौजूद है। एक टीम आई थी ओशिवरा पुलिस स्टेशन की, अभी जा चुकी है, लेकिन अंदर मौजूद है। यहाँ आने जाने वाले लोगों की निगरानी किया जा रहा है, पूछा जा रहा है, तब जाके अंदर छोड़ा जा रहा है। लेकिन जो कपिल शर्मा जो है इसी बिल्डिंग के 9th फ्लोर पर रहते हैं, पूरे परिवार के साथ रहते हैं। और मुंबई पुलिस कहना है कि अगर ज़रूरत पड़ी तो कपिल शर्मा को सुरक्षा दिया जाएगा। आप देख सकते हैं सादे वर्दी भी मुंबई पुलिस अंदर टीम मौजूद है, और मुंबई पुलिस की टीम जो आई थी उनका कहना था कि रिव्यू किया जा रहा है कपिल शर्मा के जो कैफे पर हमला हुआ कनाडा में, उसके बाद कहीं मुंबई पुलिस रिव्यू कर रही है और ये देख रही है कि अगर ज़रूरत पड़े तो कपिल शर्मा का और सुरक्षा बढ़ा सकती है। फिलहाल घर पर मुंबई पुलिस की टीम मौजूद है। अगर कपिल शर्मा यहाँ से जाते हैं, अगर यहाँ स्टूडियो जाते हैं या कहीं पर जाते हैं, तो मुंबई पुलिस की टीम उनकी सुरक्षा के लिए तैनात रहेगी।
An investigation continue both in Canada and India. Kapil Sharma is yet to release personal statement, but his team and the cafe remain defiant, hoping to return to business under safer skies. This attack comes amid a spike in extortion threats that have deeply unsettled Vancouver's South Asian business community. Whether the shooting is tied to that or is a more targeted act remains a critical question for investigation on both sides of the globe.
Shifting our focus, US President Donald Trump has said that he would strongly consider backing a new Russia sanction bill to force Russian president to end the Ukraine war. Bad news for India, as it proposes 500% tariff on countries such as ours that purchases Russian energy products. Now, Indian imports oil and petroleum products from Russia, and this move by the United States is aimed at choking energy trade with Russia. But India could end up paying the price. Petrol, diesel, uranium, petrochemicals, all of these things could face a tax nightmare. And that would mean one thing for the common man here in India: higher fuel costs and higher inflation. And this is all we could pack for you in this bulletin of 6 at 6. We'll be back tomorrow with more such stories. Till then, keep watching Republic TV.
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
As the war scorches and U.S. weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really wants to blink at all? Russia's war on Ukraine has raged for more than 3 years. But now, Moscow claims it's still waiting for Ukraine to restart peace talks, a third round of direct negotiations, a possible deal, and it's Ukraine that needs to make the first move, says the Kremlin.
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India, which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
As the war
25-year-old Radhika killed by her father in cold blood. Social media reels, daughter's income, societal pressure. An argument, fit of rage, and 3 gunshots in the back. Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
As the war scorches and U.S. weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really wants to blink at all? Russia's war on Ukraine has raged for more than 3 years. But now, Moscow claims it's still waiting for Ukraine to restart peace talks, a third round of direct negotiations, a possible deal, and it's Ukraine that needs to make the first move, says the Kremlin.
Дождаться все-таки каких-то сигналов из Киева, от представителей киевского режима о желании или нежелании выходить на третий раунд прямых переговоров российско-украинских.
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
Radhika Yadav's autopsy report is out. Report reveals Radhika was shot 3 times, died due to excessive blood loss. Witness Harpal Kaur Bedi identifies Jagdish Titler in 1984 riots case. Witness says on the day of the riots, Titler was seen arriving at Gurudwara Pul Bangash area in white ambassador car with others. NSA Ajit Dawal hails success of Operation Sindur. He says India decimated 9 Pakistani terror dens, challenging Pakistan to show proof of damage. Anger against Kangana Ranaut in Mandi after her statement that she has no funds for the flood hit Mandi. Maharashtra Minister Sanjay seen smoking with bag full of cash next to him. Shocking video surfaces day after IT notice served. The mastermind of UP conversion racket Changur Baba has been arrested by UP STF. Hello and welcome. You're watching Live and Breaking with me, Akanksha Khajuria. Let's start with the news that is coming in. As far as the 1984 riots case is concerned, Delhi's Rouse Evening Court records statement of an eyewitness, Harpal Kaur Bedi, in a case against Congress leader Jagdish Singh Titler. The recording of the statement will also continue tomorrow. So this is as far as the 1984 riots case is concerned. And the hearing is on in this case where the eyewitness has deposed before the court. Well, remember, Jagdish Titler, Congress leader, is one of the accused in the case, and this one is regarding, in fact, the Pul Bangash Gurudwara, where several people were killed. Let me go across to BJP leader Manjinder Singh Sirsa. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV. Today, Delhi's Rouse Evening Court heard this case, and a statement was given by one of the eyewitnesses that she saw Jagdish Titler coming to that Gurudwara area in white ambassador. Your first reaction?
जी देखिए, ये केस 1984 का जो केस है जिसमें बंद कर दिया गया, इसमें क्लीन चिट देके जगदीश टाइटलर को केस को खत्म कर दिया गया था। इसके बाद हमारी दिल्ली से गुरुद्वारा मैनेजमेंट कमेटी जब मैं था उसमें मैंने ये पिटीशन डाली थी और हमने उनका ये क्लीन चिट को विड्रॉ करने को कोर्ट को कहा था। विड्रॉ होने के बाद इस पे चार्जेस फ्रेम होने के लिए चार्जशीट हुई और अब आई विटनेस ने खुद हरपाल कौर बेदी जी ने आके बताया कि किस तरह से उनके परिवार के सामने, उनके परिवार को उनकी आंखों के सामने तेल डालकर आग लगाई गई और उसमें जगदीश टाइटलर वहां मौजूद था। तो ये बड़ा क्लियर विटनेस थी, लेकिन इतने साल इसलिए लगे क्योंकि कांग्रेस ने इन लोगों को बताने की लगातार कोशिश की और निरंतर कोशिश करती रही एंड तक। लेकिन अब इंसाफ का वक्त आ गया है, कांग्रेस के वक्त खत्म हो गया है और अब सच्चाई आपके सामने।
एब्सोल्युटली। और सर, हम जितनी बार जगदीश टाइटलर से ये क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं कि क्या वो वहां थे, हमेशा उनका कहना है नहीं, पर केसेस में काफी बार सामने आया है। अब तो आई विटनेसेस भी बोल रहे हैं कि वाइड एम्बेसडर में वो वहां आए थे। कहा जाता है कि उन्होंने इंसाइट किया था क्राउड को और उसके बाद ये पूरा इंसिडेंट हुआ था। पर उनकी तरफ से आज तक जब भी कन्फ्रंट किया जाता है, पूछा जाता है, तो सिर्फ चुप्पी दिखाई देती है।
नहीं, देखिए वो ये गलत है, आपकी जानकारी में मैं ध्यान में लाऊं। ये कोर्ट में उन्होंने कहा है कि मैं वहां नहीं था, लेकिन ऐसा हुआ, एक उनकी इंटरव्यू है जो मैंने भी सुनी, शायद आप भी जरूर उसको चलाना। उसमें उन्होंने बताया है कि कैसे उस दिन जब रॉयट्स हो रहे थे और मेरे को राजीव गांधी ने कहा कमन जगदीश कम हॉप इन, आओ मेरी कूद के गाड़ी में बैठो, और हम गए देखने के लिए। हम गुरुद्वारा पुल बंगश के वहां गए। हम तो बेसिकली इट वाज अ ऑर्गेनाइज्ड क्राइम एंड दिस वाज मॉनिटर्ड बाय द देन प्राइम मिनिस्टर हिमसेल्फ। और जगदीश टाइटलर वगैरह दिखाने के लिए जा रहे थे बाद में कि हमने यहाँ पे इतने लोग मरवाए हैं, मैंने इतने मरवाए हैं। सब लोग अपने अपने नंबर गिनवा रहे थे। उसमें HKL भगत थे, कमलनाथ है, जगदीश टाइटलर थे, तो इस तरह के लोग, और भगवान दास शास्त्री थे, ये कमलनाथ थे वहां से। तो ये सब लोग जो थे गिनवा रहे थे कि हमारे यहाँ पे, और जिसके ज्यादा कत्लेआम हुआ उसको बड़ा इनाम दिया गया। HKL भगत को बड़ा मंत्री बनाया गया, जगदीश टाइटलर को दूसरे नंबर पे मंत्री बनाया गया, जो कमलनाथ को मुख्यमंत्री बनाया गया, मंत्री बनाया गया केंद्र में, और इसी तरह जो सज्जन कुमार थे उनको MP बनाया गया, उसके भाई को MP बनाया गया। तो ये सब लोगों को अवार्ड दिए गए ये सब कुछ करने के लिए, इसलिए कांग्रेस अब तक उनको बचाती आई है।
एब्सोल्युटली सर, बहुत एक इम्पॉर्टेंट शॉकिंग चीज सामने आई है। विटनेस का कहना है कि 2016 से पहले उन्होंने कभी ये चीज कही नहीं थी, क्योंकि उनको डेथ थ्रेट आया था अपने सन को लेके, उनके बेटे को लेके, क्योंकि उन्हें डर था कि कहीं कुछ हो ना जाए। उन्होंने कभी इस चीज के बारे में नहीं बोला था। सो इसका मतलब है कि कांग्रेस लीडर की तरफ से थ्रेट दिया जा रहा था विटनेसेस को।
जी, परसों भी उनको थ्रेट दिया गया। परसों रात को ही मैंने कंप्लेंट दर्ज कराई है तिलकनगर पुलिस स्टेशन में। परसों तक उनको धमकियां दी गई, उनके घर पर लोग गए धमकाने के लिए, एंड दैट टू उसकी कंप्लेंट दर्ज कराई गई है पुलिस स्टेशन में। अभी भी वो हटे थोड़ा ही हैं, अभी भी उनके लोग डराने की, धमकाने की, सब साजिशें करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। लेकिन ये अब इसलिए सफल नहीं हो पा रहे क्योंकि इनकी सरकार नहीं है। अगर इनकी सरकार होती तो कभी बयान देने ही ना देते। जो देता, सज्जन कुमार के खिलाफ जिसने बयान दिया तो उसके बच्चे को जिंदा जला दिया था। ये तो इस तरह के दरिंदगी पे उतरने वाले लोग हैं, तो दरिंदे हैं, ये कोई इंसान थोड़ा ही है।
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for speaking to Republic TV on this entire case that is related to 1984 riots. Let's give you more details, in fact, about what the witnesses have said. They have said that Titler arrived in the Gurudwara area in a white ambassador. Let me go across to BJP National Spokesperson RP Singh. Thanks so much for speaking to Republic TV. Eyewitness has now said that Jagdish Titler was there at the spot. He had come in a white ambassador. He addressed the crowd there and he incited them. That led to all this attack. Your first reaction to this eyewitness statement, sir?
Well, this is quite clear now that he was the key person who did what happened in Pulbangash. Whatever happened in Pulbangash, the way the Granthisa was killed, the way the Gurdwara was burnt, it all happened because of him. And also that he is on record, there are videos on record where he has said, I filed a complaint in police station, Parliament police station on this, that he said, "Haan, maine mare the." He has admitted that he killed people. And no one can do any damn about it because he has judiciary, executive, everything in his pocket. So, but now with Prime Minister Modi there in the power, being the Prime Minister of the country, so things are shaping up, things are happening, and then after Sajjan Kumar, it is Titler who will be behind bars soon and who will have to face the punishment because of what he did in 1984. And remember, he is also record saying that I took Rajiv Gandhi around the city and then showed him around the city during the that massacre which happened. So what was Rajiv Gandhi doing? And that's why he has been blackmailing Congress party on and off. And then that's why he was not chucked out of Congress. For every executive meeting, he was always called for executive meetings also.
Absolutely, sir. और एक और बात की गई है कि उनको काफी टाइम तक थ्रेटन किया गया, डेथ थ्रेट्स दी गई। जो विटनेस है वो अपने बेटे के लिए काफी वर्ried थी, इसलिए इतने साल उन्होंने कभी कुछ बोला नहीं। इस पे क्या कहेंगे?
कांग्रेस का रजीम था, वो लगातार थ्रेट देते थे और डेथ थ्रेट्स जाती थी, और भी विटनेसेस को डेथ थ्रेट्स जाती रही हैं। But now, since the regime has changed and they can speak openly whatever they want to speak, and they can give witnesses against anyone who was involved in the massacre of 1984. So they are opening up now. But you can very well see what happened during Congress regime. Rather, all of them, Titler, Sajjan Kumar, HKL Bhagat, all of them, Kamal Nath, all of them were awarded with some party post, some post in the government, some ministerial berth in the government. So this is what has happened. We have seen, and because of their influence on the individuals, on the police, on the administration, so they have used that influence. And even after being out of power, they kept using their influence because they are people whom they have appointed whom they have obliged when they were in power. So they kept using that influence even now.
Absolutely, and no matter how many times Jagdish Titler denies this, now the truth related to 1984 riots is all out. Thanks so much, sir, for speaking to Republic TV. Now we're shifting our focus to Chhattisgarh. 22 Maoists, including 8 women, surrendered in front of the police in Chhattisgarh, Narayanpur, and this is in fact the breaking news that we are getting for you at this point in time. This is from Chhattisgarh, Narayanpur, where we're learning that as many as 22 Maoists have surrendered before the police, and this is in fact also related to the crackdown on Red Terror. And there on the screen you can see those who have surrendered as well. Let me go across across to our colleague Bharat, who joins us live on the broadcast with more details. Bharat, आप बताइए कौन है ये 22 माओइस्ट जिनको पकड़ा गया है? 8 इनमें से विमेन हैं जिन्होंने सरेंडर किया है पुलिस के सामने। कब से पुलिस इनको ढूंढ रही थी और इनके बारे में हमें थोड़ा और बताइए।
बिल्कुल, देखिए मैं आपको बता दूं कि नारायणपुर के जो बुजमाड़ इलाके कहा जाते हैं, उस इलाके पे बेहद एक्टिव रहा करते थे ये नक्सली। 33,50,000 के ये 22 नक्सली हैं जिन्होंने आज पुलिस के समक्ष आत्मसमर्पण किया। आत्मसमर्पण करने से एक तरीके से पुलिस को बड़ी सफलता मिलते हुए नजर आ रही है। वहीं अगर बात की जाए जो वुमेन्स हैं, जो महिलाएं हैं, महिलाओं की अगर बात की जाए, ये गांवों पे काफी सक्रिय हुआ करती थी। ऐसे में जब भी पुलिस एरिया डोमिनेशन के लिए निकलती या फिर एंटी नक्सल ऑपरेशन के लिए निकलती थी, तो कहीं ना कहीं जो सूचना तंत्र है माओवादियों को मजबूत करने में ये काम किया करती थी। कैडर के नक्सली हैं, बड़े कैडर के नक्सली हैं। ऐसे में इन नक्सलियों की अगर बात की जाए, बड़े बड़े घटनाओं पे भी ये एम्बुश लगाने की कोशिश की जाती थी। कहीं ना कहीं अबुजमाड़ वह इलाका कहा जाता है जो नारायणपुर के अंतर्गत में आता है, जो माओवादियों का एक तरीके से मजबूत किला माना जाता है। उस इलाके से अगर निकलकर नारायणपुर जो पुलिस के अधिकारी हैं उनके समक्ष अगर आत्मसमर्पण कर रहे हैं, तो वाकई पुलिस को एक तरीके से बड़ी सफलता देखी जा रही है। जी,
Absolutely, 22 Maoists there that have surrendered before the police, and this is in fact a big win for the police there. Thanks so much, Bharat, for all the details. We are shifting our focus to the state of Uttar Pradesh. Under Operation Langra, UP police witnessed, in fact, there were 2 encounters there in Noida and 1 in Mirzapur. In Noida, in fact, a gunfight broke out between Sector 24 police and miscreants during a checking operation in Sector 35. One miscreant, identified as a gang leader Sanjeev, sustained bullet injuries, while 2 others were arrested in this case. All the 3 belong to the interstate theft gang with around 30 cases registered against them. Here's a quick report. Two dramatic police encounters under Operation Langra rocked Uttar Pradesh in the last 24 hours, one in Noida, the other in Mirzapur. In Noida, Sector 35, a late-night gunfight broke out during a police checking operation. The Sector 24 police confronted a group of miscreants, part of an interstate theft gang.
लगातार इस क्षेत्र में घटनाएं करने वाले अपराधी को जब रोकने का प्रयास किया गया, तो इन्होंने पुलिस पर फायर किया, जिसमें हमारी पुलिस की गाड़ी पे गोली लगी और आगे बढ़ करके जब पुलिस ने ललकारा और आगे इनकी घेराबंदी की गई, तो इसमें जो इसका मुख्य सरगना है वो संजीव कुमार यादव उर्फ फौजी, उसने पुलिस पर फायर किया। उसके साथ ही 2 अन्य साथी सर्वपाल सिंह और अमन बग्गा, इन लोगों ने भी पुलिस पर हमला किया। इसी क्रम में संजीव कुमार यादव और फौजी को गोली लगी है और उनको गिरफ्तार करके विधिक कार्रवाई की जा रही है।
The gang's leader Sanjeev was shot in the leg while 2 accomplices were arrested. Shockingly, over 30 cases are already registered against the trio. And meanwhile in Mirzapur, 2 drug smugglers from Odisha were intercepted in a car. Both accused were shot in the leg and arrested.
2 बदमाश उड़ीसा से गांजा लेकर के मिर्जापुर की तरफ आ रहे हैं। इस पर थाना एरोइक पुलिस, एसओजी टीम और सर्वांश टीम द्वारा सुकृत तपोवन मार्ग पर चेकिंग कराई गई। इस दौरान एक स्कॉर्पियो दिखाई पड़ी, उसे रोका गया तो उसने गाड़ी मोड़ कर भागना शुरू कर दिया। आगे जाकर एक राखड़ के ढेर में गाड़ी फंस गई। गाड़ी फंस जाने पर दोनों ही अभियुक्त कूद कर भागने लगे। पुलिस द्वारा उनको लटकाया गया, रोकने का प्रयास किया गया, तो दोनों अभियुक्तों द्वारा पुलिस पर जान से मारने की नीयत से गोली चलाई गई। पुलिस द्वारा भी अपने बचाव में फायरिंग की गई, जिसमें दोनों अभियुक्तों की पैरों में गोली लगी है।
Yogi government's model is in action in Uttar Pradesh, with the police tightening the noose under Operation Langra. And we have breaking news coming in as far as the legal conversion case is concerned, in which, remember, Changur Baba or Conversion Baba has been arrested by UP ATS. Now, what we're learning is that there's a financial angle that ATS is probing, and we are learning that 500 crore funding was given to him. According to sources, he received a huge amount of money for funding the illegal conversion. 200 crore rupees funding detected so far. In fact, 300 crore rupees the transaction was done from Nepal. This is as far as the illegal conversion case is concerned. Let me go across to my colleague Weber, who joins us live in the broadcast with more details. Weber, हमें बताइए, क्योंकि इसमें फाइनेंशियल एंगल निकल के आ रहा है, क्योंकि ईडी ने भी काफी यूपी पुलिस से इस चीज में मदद मांगी है, डॉक्यूमेंट्स मांगे हैं, टेरर एंगल भी निकल के आ रहा है, एनआईए का भी बोला जा रहा है कि वो भी इस चीज में शामिल हो सकती है इन्वेस्टिगेशन में। आप हमें फाइनेंशियल एंगल पे बताइए, क्योंकि बात 500 करोड़ की है, यहाँ पे नेपाल से भी पैसा भेजा गया है, इस पे हमें और डिटेल्स दीजिए।
देखिए, बिल्कुल सिर्फ बात यहां पर 500 करोड़ की नहीं है, और बात अब इससे भी बहुत आगे शायद है, क्योंकि अब तक के जो खुलासे इस पूरे प्रकरण में हुए हैं, छांगुर बाबा की गिरफ्तारी और एटीएस से लंबी 2 दिन की पूछताछ, उसमें यह एंगल निकलकर सामने आ रहा है कि इस छांगुर बाबा को बड़ी विदेशी फंडिंग हो रही थी, और इस फंडिंग के पीछे क्या सिर्फ अवैध धर्मांतरण था या फिर आतंकवाद के खिलाफ भी इस पैसे के जो है वो इस्तेमाल करना था। टेरर एंगल भी इन पैसे और इन लगातार जो है वो उसको लेकर सामने आ सकता है। तो ऐसे में अब कहीं ना कहीं से इस पूरे मामले में सबसे महत्वपूर्ण ये है छांगुर की गिरफ्तारी। छांगुर की गिरफ्तारी के बाद अब एटीएस से पूछताछ में क्या खुलासे होंगे। जिस 500 करोड़ के विदेशी फंडिंग को लेकर अब तक के जांच में सामने आ रहा है, वो ये बिल्कुल साफ कह रहा है कि न सिर्फ अरबियन कंट्री बल्कि नेपाल और आसपास के वो तमाम देश जहां पर छांगुर बाबा या फिर उनके तमाम वो सहयोगी या फिर उनके वो गुर्गे मौजूद रहते थे, वहां से कैसे वो फंड जुटाते थे और फंड जुटाकर तमाम ऐसे अकाउंट से जिन खातों में इन पैसों को ट्रांसफर किया जाता था। एटीएस की जांच अब इस मामले में महत्वपूर्ण बिंदु पर पहुंची हुई है, क्योंकि अब उन तमाम डॉक्यूमेंट्स, अब उन तमाम बैंक अकाउंट्स को खंगाला जाएगा जहां से ये अवैध फंडिंग जो है वो विदेशी फंडिंग छांगुर बाबा के पास अवैध धर्मांतरण कराए जाने को लेकर जो है वो की जा रही थी। लेकिन अगर इसमें टेरर एंगल भी सामने आता है तो यह तय है इस पूरे प्रकरण में जांच अब आगे और बढ़ेगी और इसके रडार में कई लोग और उभर कर सामने आएंगे। क्योंकि आप सोचिए, 7 से 8 साल पहले जो शख्स अंगूठी बेचता है, पत्थर बेचता है, जो है वो नग बेचता है, साइकिल पर लोगों के दरवाजों तक पहुंचता है, वो शख्स कैसे इतनी आलिशान कोठी में 7 से 8 साल के अंदर जो है वो डेवलप कर लेता है। प्रशासन की नजर आखिर 7-8 साल तक उसके इस अवैध प्रॉपर्टी पर क्यों नहीं पड़ी, और अगर पड़ी तो फिर एक्शन कोई क्यों नहीं लिया गया। 10 साल के अंदर तकरीबन इतना बड़ा साम्राज्य खड़ा कर लेना, इस साम्राज्य के पीछे किन किन तत्वों का हाथ है, कैसे विदेशी फंडिंग के जरिए इतना बड़ा साम्राज्य एक शख्स खड़ा कर लेता है, ये वो तमाम सवाल हैं जिन सवालों के अब जवाब जो है वो एटीएस खंगाल रही है। महत्वपूर्ण बिंदु यहां पर यह भी है क्योंकि आज 40 मिनट तक एटीएस की टीम छांगुर बाबा को उसके उस घर पर लेकर गई, जिस घर को उसने 3 बीघे के अंदर तैयार किया है। और आप उन तस्वीरों को देखिए, 10 से 12 फीट ऊंची बाउंड्री वॉल, ऊपर कोबरा वायर लगी हुई है, चारों तरफ से वो किलेनुमा घर जो है वो बना हुआ है। उस घर के अंदर सिर्फ और सिर्फ सेलेक्टेड लोगों को भी जाने की जो है वो परमिशन थी। अगर छांगुर बाबा चाहता तभी आप उस घर के अंदर दस्तक दे सकते थे, आपकी एंट्री हो सकती थी। यानी कि इस पूरे साम्राज्य को कितने लोग मिलकर चला रहे थे। इस अवैध धर्मांतरण के तार क्या सिर्फ उत्तर प्रदेश, राजस्थान, पंजाब या फिर महाराष्ट्र तक फैले हैं, या फिर देश के कई और ऐसे राज्य हैं, विश्व के कई ऐसे देश हैं जहां पर इस अवैध धर्मांतरण के गिरोह का जो है वो कहीं ना कहीं से बड़ा खुलासा हो सकता है। तो कुल मिलाकर ये इन्वेस्टिगेशन यहीं पर नहीं रुकने वाली है, लंबी इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगी। एटीएस पूछताछ करेगी उन तमाम बातों को लेकर कि आखिर कैसे आपने इतना बड़ा साम्राज्य खड़ा किया।
Absolutely. So financial transactions are under the scanner as far as this conversion case is concerned. Thank you so much, Bharat, for Weber, for all the details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this. Now, shifting our focus, India has exposed Pakistan. In a strong statement, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval challenged critics to show any damage to Indian infra during Operation Sindur. He said that only satellite images of Pakistani air bases such as Sargodha, Rahim Yar Khan and Chaklala circulated in the foreign media showed damage, not any Indian site. He also, in fact, slammed foreign media reporting on Operation Sindur and said that they failed to show any damage to the Indian infrastructure, but images from 13 air bases that were damaged in Indian precision strikes in Pakistan have surfaced online. Hailing India's precision in hitting its target in the crisscross of Pakistan on May 7th, Doval said that armed forces hit nowhere else except the target. Listen into what he said.
We have to develop our indigenous technology. Mention was made here of Sindur. We are really proud of it, not for necessarily what people perceive. That how much of an indigenous content was there. We are proud of it, that some of the best systems that worked, whether it was our BrahMos systems, whether it was our integrated air control and command systems, whether it was our radars, whether it was the whole this of it that was being done at the battlefield surveillance about the position out there. We decided to have 9 terrorist targets in the crisscross of Pakistan. It was not on the border area something, which we thought were there this way. We missed none. We hit nowhere else except that. And it is also not that this was a very, it was precise to the point where we knew who is where. Entire operation was started at 5 minutes past 1 and was over at 28 minutes past 1. 23 minutes. Thereafter, a lot of things are said that this thing, foreign press and all these things, they said Pakistan did that and this. You tell me one photograph, one imagery. In, these days, these imageries are from the satellites all over the world. They are this thing. Which shows any Indian damage being done, even a glass pane having been torn. I don't know, only our forces will be knowing what's happening in this thing, but I am just telling, they brought out photographs, they wrote this thing, the New York Times put out this thing. Only imagine they said 13 air bases of Pakistan now and now, before 10th May and after 10th May. Whether it was in Sargoda or it was in Rahim Yar Khan or it was in Chaklala or it was in Rawalpindi, any of the places that there are 13 important air bases, including the Bellary where they have got the AVAX, the control systems. Now, I'm not telling any of this thing. I'm only telling what the foreign media, on the basis of the imageries, have put the images in it. So we're very able to achieve it. We are capable of doing that.
And we asked for the Nationalist collective view on FATA finding last night, and we have received some fantastic responses from the collective members. Here's what Bhargavi has said on this.
Hey everyone. 9 terror targets in short span of 23 minutes. That's what our Honorable NSA Shri Ajit Doval has said while addressing a convocation gathering in IIT Madras today. In month of May, our forces showed exemplary courage by hitting 9 terror targets in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which was met by Pakistan's covert attempt to attack our civilian areas. And in turn, it was met by India's befitting reply by destroying 11 air bases in Pakistan, which led to Pakistan going to its knees. Why Operation Sindur's victory is undeniable. Firstly, it's because that we fought against enemies, and secondly, India has once again reiterated strong stance against terrorism, and it has once again said that its president won't take cross-border terrorism at all cost. So it's time for us Indians to come together and fight the Western media narrative, which is always anti-India, and we should be proud of our forces. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Namaste.
We're taking a very short break. Coming up on the other side, we'll tell you about the anger against Kangana Ranautan Mandi of Himachal Pradesh after her statement that she has no funds for the flood-hit state. We'll also tell you about this image that has come to the fore of Maharashtra minister smoking with bag full of cash next to him. Shocking video surfaces day after IT notice served.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
As the war scorches and U.S. weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really wants to blink at all?
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
As the war scorches and U.S. weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is...
25-year-old Radhika killed by her father in cold blood. Social media reels, daughter's income, societal pressure. An argument, fit of rage, and 3 gunshots in the back. Debating tonight at 8 p.m.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Thank you for joining us on This Is Exclusive as we wait for details of the AI-171 crash report for the first time since the crash. In June this year, we have accessed the full details of the investigation. There have been very speculative reports in the last few days. But for the first time, we have the details of the conversations that have happened in the meetings and the exact preliminary report which has been submitted. Here are the details, the headlines. First up on This Is Exclusive. Almost a month after the AI-171 crash, Republic getting crucial details on the communication and the black box data. 2 black boxes recovered. Analysis in India. Four Chinese nationals arrested in Greece, spying on the Rafale at the home of the Rafales in Greece. Full details on why and who it was.
Decided to have 9 terrorist targets in the crisscross of Pakistan. It was not on the border area something, which we thought were there to do. We missed none.
NSA Ajit Doval hailing the success of Operation Sindur, reiterating how India decimated 9 Pakistani terror dens. Challenges foreign media to show proof of damage to India. 1984 riots. Witnesses identified Jagdish Titler in the riots cases. A witness says on the day of the riots, Titler was seen arriving at the Gurudwara in a white ambassador car. Critical testimony given. It's been nearly a month since one of the deadliest aviation disasters, not just in India's recent history, but across the world. It's a tragedy that claimed 241 lives, shattered families across continents. And tonight, for the first time since the crash, we bring you exclusive details of the ongoing investigation, where it stands, what happened, and what we know so far. As the top brass at Air India, Boeing face tough questions, and the black box begins to tell the story of what really happened on board AI-171.
On the 12th of June, 242 people boarded a flight en route London. 30 seconds on, Captain Sumit Sabharwal issued a mayday call, moments after which the Air India AI-171 flight went down. 241 lives lost at the blink of an eye, and one miraculous survivor. The plane crashed into the residential area of a civil hospital campus, hitting the doctors' quarters and the students' hostel buildings. And 4 days after a high-level inquiry was launched by the Civil Aviation Ministry and Aviation Watchdog DGCA, the much important black box was recovered. The top command of Air India and Boeing has been under intense scrutiny since the tragic incident over the maintenance of the aircraft and the Boeing 787 fleet. And while India and the grieving families await closure, Republic has the exclusive details tonight.
And we have the first bit of breaking news update coming in. In fact, we had access to the full details of that meeting, and we are not putting out the full details because we will wait for that report, but we have minute-by-minute details of what really happened. 1 month after the tragic crash of Air India flight AI-171, full communication records have been accessed. We have the details coming in. The first bit of breaking news update, that analysis of the FDR and CDR is being done. Analysis of FDR, CDR being done. Pilot communication with the crew on board is available. And the full communication with the ATC has been retrieved. And these are details and the data recovered from the black box. Communication with other aircraft has also been made available. Both black boxes, I repeat, both black boxes, 2 black boxes have been recovered and are being analyzed. And despite all the speculative reports of a conclusive sort of a finding in this case, what we are hearing that a timeline of 1 month is needed, 1 more month needed for analysis of the black box. That's breaking number 1. Now, let's get you the second bit of breaking news update. There are 4 parts to the breaking story. In the second bit of breaking news update, in what could be a first for Indian aviation investigation, what is referred to as the golden chassis. The golden chassis, an essential tool for decoding black box data, has been brought to India, marking a significant leap in country's technological capabilities. For the first time, in fact, it has happened, and this has happened following the intervention of the Ministry of Civil Aviation. The golden chassis has been brought after the MOCA, the Ministry of Civil Aviation, intervened, and it will ensure that India now studies black boxes. In the past, when there were accidents, the black boxes would be sent to the OEM or another country where the OEM is located. But in this case, the golden chassis has been brought to India. It will be investigated in India. So there is no pressure factor here. Harsha is joining me first up. And before I do that, I want to go across to Harsha. One question with her, and then I'll go across to Captain Surjit Singh Panesar as well. Harsha, tell us about this golden chassis and what this means for the investigation right now.
So, Niranjan, this golden chassis is very important for the data retrieving of the black box. We know that this time CVR and DFDR both are being analyzed and investigated in India only. It was the very first time that both the CVR and DFDR has not been sent to US. The entire retrieving is happening in India only. And the golden chassis is an equipment which is needed to retrieve the data of the black box. And it arrived from US in India on 23rd of June. And in fact, both CVR and DFDR flew from Ahmedabad to Delhi to the investigation center to the lab of AAIB on 15th of June and from different aircraft. So we have got to know that in this entire investigation of AAIB where the Ahmedabad plane crashed, detail will be coming out. Golden chassis plays a very important role, and therefore the one of the investigator from US especially flew with golden chassis so that the data of the black box could be retrieved, so that it could be known that what happened during the last minute in the Ahmedabad airplane crash. What exactly was the communication established between the pilot and between the ATC, and those last minute recordings are very important. And today Rammohan Naidu himself has stated that today late evening we are expecting that the AIB preliminary investigation report will be published in the PIB and in the MOCA website as well. We'll get to know today exactly what has happened in the AI 171 crash and exactly what transpired which led to the crash. Was it the faulty equipment? Was it the Boeing fault? Was it the Air India aircraft fault? What exactly happened? So the investigation report will be submitted today late evening. But golden chassis is a very important equipment through which the data will be retrieved. Golden chassis equipment will be fixed in the CVR and DFDR, and then only AIB could know exactly what is mentioned in the black box, exactly what the data is there in the black box. But yes, our black box never flew to
Be with
US
me, Harsha, because I have another
country.
breaking news update coming in. Stay with me because I have the third breaking news update coming in, because there was a mention in that meeting that took place a few days back about defective items. Now, this is critical because for the first time, if a defective item angle is being investigated, this is an indicator that we got from the meeting. What the crew spoke was being corroborated with the aircraft data that is being analyzed. The black box data is being corroborated with the crew speech. In fact, for the first time, we are hearing that Air Force officials have been roped in for the AI-171 investigation. Investigators have been roped in from the IAF for the AI-171 probe. Now, these could be, we don't know whether they are serving or retired, but IAF experts are now involved in the AI-171 investigation. The entire wreckage in this case has been moved close to the airport, and the entire aircraft was reconstructed at a parallel site. Defective items were sent to labs and agencies for analysis. These are minute by minute, very, very minute details we've picked up. And Captain Surjit Singh Panesar, former director of flight safety training, in Indian, the erstwhile Indian Airlines, joining us on the show. Captain Panesar, one, if I can get your view on this golden chassis and how critical that becomes if India is going to investigate the black box. Point number two, what you make of the defective items that we are being told now have been sent to foreign labs for analysis?
Well, Arnab, let me tell you, initially they said we have no facility to decode DFDR and CVR. Now they say we got all the facilities, we'll decode this. And now we have to see what report they are giving. They are not involving any other experts from outside, except some selected few one. because it's not a public inquiry, it's a closed-door investigation, neither a judicial inquiry. I personally feel the pilot has given his life to save the passenger. He tried his last minute to save them, but when it became beyond his control, he announced Mayday, Mayday. I think pilot has given life to save these passengers. It should be appreciated. But no, all has happened, CBR, DFDA will decode everything, provided it is made to public or no. We have to wait and see what reports they are making. And these experts, when they write, unless they make the report public, it is not easy for us to contemplate what could have happened. Only professional advice will come only once we see the actual reading of the DFDR and CBR, what conspired in the cockpit and the DFDR. It records more than 200 parameters. Temperature, fuel contamination, engine failing, seat going back. All these are contemplations. It is not good to go on contemplation. Let's wait for the report. They say they are the experts. Even I believe ECO experts have come. Yeah. I wish they should know the NTSB experts, who are the world famous experts in investigation of rail and air accidents. Now, only after the report we see, then only you can contemplate what all has happened. Whether this report is correct or incorrect, and it is professionally made report, or it has been cooked up report. That only can be seen after we see the report. Unless we see the report, it is not good to contemplate anything on the working of these experts who have come out with the investigation of this crash. They have Secretary, Ministry of Home Affairs, Secretary Civil Aviation, Bureau of Civil Aviation Security. There are so many experts who are involved in this investigation. And let us see how they accept this report, and then we will give our comments. Then it will be good for the public to know what are our comments and what the report says.
Captain Panesar, thank you for joining us on the show. I appreciate you joining us this evening on This Is Exclusive. Thank you very much. I have another bit of breaking news update on this, because we are hearing that four teams have been formed. Before I go to the next breaking on the Chinese nationals arrested while spying on Rafale, 4 teams have been formed which are looking closely at the detailing of that report. And let me go to the next breaking news update now. China has been spreading disinformation about the Rafale in the Indian Air Force. Now, this is a first. We have got information now, and more information. In fact, the arrest happened a few days back, but more information coming in about the nature of arrest. The 4 Chinese nationals who were caught snooping on the Rafales in Greece. There are more details coming in. They were caught snooping, taking photographs of the Tanagra Air Base in Greece. Tanagra Air Base in Greece. And the Greek Rafales are stationed here at the Tanagra Air Base. And the 4 Chinese spies were caught taking photos of the Rafale jets. They were interrogated, and then it was confirmed that they were taking photographs. And Greece has received 24 Rafales in the last few months alone. So they have received 24 Rafales, and they were caught recording pictures and videos at the home of Rafales in Greece. Major K.K. Sinha is joining us on the broadcast. General K.K. Sinha, we know the kind of disinformation that China spread using its embassies, especially in Indian embassy. They used the Indian embassy to spread a lot of fake news essentially on Rafales. Now, this is critical. 4 Chinese nationals caught red-handed spying on the Rafales in Greece. It's interesting because Greece is taking on Turkey. China and Turkey have helped Pakistan in Operation Sindur. So what the Chinese were doing in Greece becomes very critical.
Good evening, Niranjan. This has become very interesting, as you said, that, and especially the linkages with the Greeks. First, Rafale and, the team. These 4 Chinese nationals who have been caught snooping of Rafale jet in Greece, they are a team of 2 men, 1 woman, and 1 teenager. And they have been caught. Basically, they were photographing the first thing in that air base, and also the Rafale. They have been caught. And this is north of Athens and Greece, where the Prime Minister was there. If you remember, before you went to United States of America for G7 meeting, he had a stop at Athens because you brought it out. We have been leveraging with Greece, and Greece has got, said that they have got about 24 Rafale, which has just been procured. See, it becomes very interesting, because what the Chinese, especially after Operation Sindur, because they wanted to have misinformation spread all over, and their media was, linked with this. What they were, actually cheesed off is that, PL-15E, if you remember, beyond visual range, which they fired on our Rafale, that was lying on a field. It was failed. And they are cheesed off how this, the Rafale has evaded. They initially, made a, try to have a misinformation that 6 Rafales are down, then brought down to 4, and things like that. What is important that, about 2 days back, a similar snooping case has come from Ukraine. If you remember, they are a father and son. See the, the combination has been caught, they were trying to snoop again, Neptune anti-missile program. So here is very interesting that, they are going all over the world, wherever they find. And this Neptune missile program, Moscow was down because of this. So anything good, they are trying to get top of it. J-17, J-20, Block 3, J-35, they all failed. You are, more or less failing or failed, especially in Operation Sindur, very badly, and they have been exposed. And Niranjan, it's very interesting. The Rafale is doing very well. France, Egypt, India, Qatar, Greece, I think UAE and then Serbia now is going for it. 7 countries. And India is very important because this snooping is because of that. India had 36, 26 for Navy and 114 Make in India program. I think there is some talk is going on. So they want, why India is, on these all snooping, they might be doing it in Greece, thinking that, it's a small country and they will get away on that. They have gone over there as a tourist and they were doing it. Now they are in the custody. They have been detained by the Air Force police over there. Let's see what comes out of it. But this is the design of China, but has to be defeated. The misinformation they have created. We found Rafale to be very good. It may be 4.5 generation, but I think it's outmatched 5th generation, what they have got in their category.
Thank you for joining us, sir. We were actually waiting for more details. We will get some more details on this, on the role that the Chinese played. We have some pictures, perhaps, that we will put out in the next few hours and days. Thank you for joining us, General K. Kisana, for being on the show. The Chinese Nationals and Republic put out a full dossier a few days back on how China tried to run down the Rafale. And if they were snooping on the Rafale in Greece, there are many questions that remain. We will continue to track the story. Thanks for joining us on This Is Exclusive.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
As the war scorches and U.S. weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really wants to blink at all? Russia's war on Ukraine has raged for more than 3 years. But now, Moscow claims it's still waiting for Ukraine to restart peace talks, a third round of direct negotiations, a possible deal, and it's Ukraine.
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe It is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India, which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
"25-year-old Radhika killed by her father in cold blood." Social media reels, daughter's income, societal pressure. An argument, fit of rage, and 3 gunshots in the back. Debating tonight at 8 p.m. Air bases, 1 operation. Man of the hour breaks silence. NSA challenges Pakistan to show 1 image of damage in India. Foreign media hoax busted. Pakistan has nowhere to hide. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. रहो बेफिक्र।
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड, मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग स्टिक भी बन सकती है।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
As the war scorches and U.S. weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really...
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country. The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow only if nation first becomes our principal motto, where the only ism that matters is nationalism. Join the Nationalist Collective. It is going to be the largest non-political movement in this country.
Five-year-old Radhika killed by her father in cold blood. Social media reels, daughter's income, societal pressure. An argument, fit of rage, and 3 gunshots in the back. Debating tonight at 8 p.m. Kangna makes bizarre remarks in disaster-hit Mandi. No cabinet, no funds, and locals confront photo op. Has Kangna become a liability for BJP? Debating tonight at 8:30 p.m. 13 air bases, 1 operation. Man of the hour breaks silence. NSA challenges Pakistan to show one image of damage in India. Foreign media hoax busted. Pakistan has nowhere to hide. Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long,
from your smartphones to your smart television, the trending stories are breaking the internet. Trump is making waves again with his trade and tariff war. Not just this, we have NSA Ajit Doval daring the international media to prove that any target in India was hit during Operation Sindur. He's setting the record straight once and for all. He's made an open challenge to Pakistan as well, and every Western media outlet that dares to distort the facts during Operation Sindur. Meanwhile, we have a story from Gurugram. 25-year-old rising tennis champion shot dead by her own father. We'll get you the chilling details that have been accessed by Republic TV. On the other side, viewers, a Birkin bag is making news, well, as it was sold for a whopping amount, and the number itself would probably bear a hole in our pockets. Of course, burn a hole in our pockets. Talk about extravagant fashion statements. We have all this and a lot more packed in this edition of Trending. I'm Rakshita Mishra. Let's get started. So Trump has gone full throttle with his tariff war, and the countries are teetering on the edge. We'll get you what is going to happen with India in just a moment from now. All that's brewing between India and US as far as the trade talks are concerned. But first, we'll tell you about the war of words that has broken out between Trump and Brazil's Lula da Silva, the Brazilian president. A message from US President Donald Trump on Wednesday landed like a grenade in Brazil, bringing the relationship between the two countries to an all-time low. In a dramatic escalation of tensions, President Donald Trump announced on the 9th of July that the US would impose a 50% tariff on all imports from Brazil, beginning 1st of August this year. Now, Brazil's President Lula da Silva quickly shot back on X. He said, and I quote, "Brazil is a sovereign nation with independent institutions and will not accept any form of tutelage." He's also said that the claim regarding a US trade deficit in its commercial relationship with Brazil is inaccurate, and that the statistics from the US government itself shows a surplus of $410 billion in trade of goods and services with Brazil over the past 15 years. He concludes saying that sovereignty, respect and the unwavering defense of the interests of the Brazilian people are the values that guide our relationship with the world. And not just this, viewers. US President Donald Trump has also said that he would strongly consider backing a new Russia sanction bill that aims to force Russian President Vladimir Putin to negotiate an end to the Ukraine war. But the news is that the bill, which was introduced in the US Senate earlier this year, proposes a 500% tariff on countries like India, which purchase Russian energy products. So, how it is going to impact India, we'll get to you that. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has also decided to defer the announcement of new tariffs on Indian goods, signaling a potential opening for renewed bilateral trade talks. And so for more on that, I have joining me live on the bulletin, on the broadcast, Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor and also my colleague Pranav joining us from the business desk. To you first, Abhishek. Well, we understand that there is a pause for a cause between India and US. What really is brewing?
Abhishek, basically the Indian delegation, it is learnt, is going back to the US to negotiate the trade deal between India and US further. What do we know so far? What is going on between the two countries?
Well, you see, my information is that they have already gone back, and which means that there is a rethink happening on the part of the Americans, and that's why they are back to the drawing board and for a discussion. Again, I'm given to understand, Pranav, that a broad understanding has been reached that India would get a flat tariff of, or an average tariff of about 15%. You know, it would vary from product to product. So some might be just zero, the others might be 25%. There could be a 10% tariff on others. So taken together as a whole, it would be an average of 15%. Now look at this. We have 10% of base tariff, and then you look at 15%. Plus, if you add what Trump is talking about, another additional 10% of tariff on BRICS nations, or those aligning with BRICS. So in that sense, I think we are looking at something like an average of 25% of tariff for India. Now, one way of looking that is that this is okay picture, because in the month of February, when Trump had originally announced the tariffs, in the month of April actually, India was put in the 26% bracket. So now if it is an average of 25%, including, mind you, the BRICS tariff, then we are looking at a good, happy picture of an average tariff for India. And that's pretty much the best you can expect from the situation we are in, where even the long-standing allies of the United States like Japan have got 40-45%. So I think in that sense, it's looking good. The issue of dairy and agriculture is still off the table, but the team is back. The negotiations are back. There were some issues which Donald Trump did not like. The deal was the mini deal was effectively on his table, but he has sent it back to his team to negotiate or renegotiate with India, and that's why the Indian team is back. And so that's a very interesting and important development. And I believe in the scenario that we are in, where there are unilateral announcements being made by President Trump, this seems like a happy going forward insofar as the India-US bilateral trade agreement is concerned.
Absolutely. In fact, despite the July 9 deadline, we haven't received any letter, so that's a positive sign in itself.
We have time till August 1 now, effectively, so that's why the team is back.
Perfect. Yeah, that's what we have for you, Rakshita.
Right, Pranav and Abhishek, thanks so much for joining us with those details and insights on what's going behind the scenes there. Viewers, shifting our focus now. The world bore witness today to India's undisputed might when it unleashed the formidable Operation Sindur on Pakistan, a show of precision and power that has since been misrepresented. Yes, that's about the Western media's agenda. How it twisted the facts, it turned the facts, distorted the facts, presenting their own narratives at best and blatant lies at worst. Their coverage a far cry from the truth. Now, NSA Ajit Doval has set the record straight once and for all. What India did there. Western media, on the other hand, had twisted and turned the facts, presented a distorted narrative at best and the blatant lies at worst. And what was their coverage about? It was a far cry from the truth. And now, NSA Ajit Doval has set the record straight once and for all.
9 terrorist targets in the crisscross of Pakistan. It was not only the border area, something which we thought were there this way. We missed none. We hit nowhere else except that. Entire operation was started at 5 minutes past 1 and was over at 28 minutes past 1. 23 minutes. Thereafter, a lot of things are said that this thing, foreign press and all these things, they said Pakistan did that and this. You tell me one photograph, one imagery. These days, these imageries are from the satellites all over the world. They are this thing. Which shows any Indian damage being done, even a glass pane having been torn.
So, Doval was speaking at the 60-second convocation of the IIT Madras, and he made it clear that Operation Sindur was not just a strike, it was a message. He also highlighted the power of indigenous weapons and zero collateral damage, of absolute precision. This was a message to the world and to Pakistan. He made it clear that India is not only capable of striking back, we do it with precision, we do it with power, and we do it with pride. Ladies and gentlemen, we have received an overwhelming response from the members of Nationalist Collective on the same. Watch this.
I don't know why are we even discussing Pakistan, because they have always thrived on deceit, cheating people, cheating their own family members if it comes to that, over and above being a terrorist nation. So I guess, they are done and dusted, and there's no coming back for them. They can't be in a civilized society. So it's like the day you eliminate Pakistan, the world will be at greater peace.
Namaste. I'm Arpit Tiwari, member of the Nationalist Collective. Operation Sindur was a strategic masterclass by our armed forces, showcasing sheer precision, coordination, technological sophistication, and swift action. The rage of all Indians was channeled appropriately after the cowardly Pahalgam attack. And now FATF's latest list has put it out in black and white that Pakistan is a terrorist nation. I'd also like everyone watching this to not just be spectators but participate in the national resolve, in the national dialogue, and show terrorism its place. Jai Hind.
Operation Sindur was not a retaliation, it was not a warning, it was a redefinition of power. On May 7, 2025 at 1:05 am, India struck deep. 9 terror hubs, 4 across Pakistan and 5 in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, were reduced to rubble in a matter of 23 minutes. There were no civilian casualties, no Indian losses. Over 100 terrorists were neutralized. Zero damage on Indian soil, and let me say this on record, not a single Indian glass was broken. This wasn't an airstrike, this was a coordinated brilliance by the Indian Army, the Indian Air Force and the Navy. With the indigenous missile systems like the Akash missiles, Swati radars, the Rafale jets, Pakistan's retaliation failed miserably. They launched drones, they fired missiles, and every single one of them was intercepted, while our jets returned home without a scratch. This is not the India of 1999, this is the Bharat of 2025 that is decisive, that's unforgiving and unstoppable. Terror has no sanctuary anymore. If you dare harm even one Indian, we will come for you with the fire of our forces, with the fury of our flag, and most importantly, with the faith of our people. Jai Hind.
And viewers, with that, we take a quick look at the trends that are running hot on social media today. time for fast trends. In a high-altitude power move, South Korea, US and Japan teamed up for a joint air drill over international waters, headlined by none other than the US's heavyweight B-52H strategic bomber. Now, it's the bomber's first big appearance over the Korean peninsula in 2025, and yes, it is meant to catch the North Korea's eye. This mid-air show of strength was not just for style, it synced perfectly with a trilateral defense meet in Seoul, where ministers swapped notes on ramping up military cooperation. What is the big agenda? Well, countering North Korea's growing nuclear swagger and its blossoming bromance with Russia. We have some stellar power move visuals running on the screens right now. In a swift maritime operation, the Indian Coast Guard rescued a US-flagged vessel in distress in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Indian Ocean. Responding to an SOS, Indian Coast Guard ships reached the site promptly, ensuring the crew's safety and stabilizing the vessel. The incident highlights the growing coordination between Indian and American maritime forces. Officials praised the professionalism of the rescue team, calling it a textbook example of international maritime cooperation. The rescued crew reported to be safe and in good health. A powerful tornado ripped through parts of the United States Midwest today, flipping vehicles, downing power lines, and sending residents scrambling for cover. The National Weather Service had issued early warnings, but the storm still packed a surprise punch, leaving behind a trail of debris and dramatic sky footage. Stunning video from the US showed a massive dark grey shelf cloud rolling over Washington, D.C. as the region was hit by strong thunderstorms. Indian astronaut Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla is currently docked at the International Space Station. The crew is expected to return to Earth 14th of July. Suit up for the splashdown, viewers. Group Captain Shukla will be undocking from the International Space Station very, very soon. And, Group Captain Shukla wrapped up the mission with a meal that was out of his world, literally out of this world. As the ISS adventure neared its end, he celebrated with a 3-course feast. On the menu, shrimp cocktails, sizzling fajitas, and a sweet serving of his favorite gajar ka halwa. The dinner was both a nod to home and a toast to teamwork. Group Captain Shukla dined with his international crewmates, blending flavors and friendships. From microgravity to mithai, this farewell dinner hit all the right notes. And countdown to the splashdown, of course, never tasted so good. Call it boots, brains and bhakti. The Indian Army, in close coordination with the civil administration and Central Armed Police Forces, have rolled out Operation Shiva 2025 to safeguard Sri Amarnath Ji Yatra, an annual spiritual journey now under tight security cover. With the ghost of Pakistan-backed threats post-Operation Sindur still looming, this is not just routine deployment, it's a full-blown fortress on the move. Over 8,500 troops, high-tech surveillance and a multi-layered counter-terror grid are now in play along with both Yatra routes. From anti-terror operations to disaster response drills, it's a blend of spiritual sanctity and military precision. Viewers, Radhika Yadav, a 25-year-old rising sports star, tennis star, was shot dead in Gurugram by her own father, who later confessed to the crime. He fired 5 bullets, 3 hit her. He shot her from the back. The motive being what we understand, what we are gathering is that he could not bear what society had said about her success. A daughter's pride became a father's shame, viewers. The police call it a cold-blooded, deliberate act, not a crime of passion. And remember, this is a young girl, 25-year-old Radhika Yadav. The FIR concluded the criminal was Deepak Yadav, 49-year-old. He'll be held under IPC sections 302 and Arms Act invoked as well. Key FIR points as per police, accused fired 5 rounds using a licensed revolver. Accused confessed motive almost instantly, saying that he felt insulted by the taunts from society about living off his daughter's income. You heard that right. Accused also stated he ordered Radhika to shut down her academy, the tennis academy she was running. She refused to do that, and also what had disturbed this father of hers were the so-called comments on her character and social media activity as well that could have been possible triggers. The FIR includes witness statement from the colony guard who saw Deepak exiting with a revolver and saying, "Maine maar diya," that I killed her. Alright viewers, that's all we could pack in this edition of Trending. We'll be right back with the super prime time debate with Arnab Goswami.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
Amity has been ranked amongst the top 3% universities globally, a testimony to Amity's globally benchmarked quality.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की देगी मिर्च,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मिर्च।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
As the war scorches and US weapons start arriving again, the Kremlin is sending a message: we're still open to peace. But here's the twist. Is President Zelensky finally being cornered into deciding if he really wants to blink at all? Russia's war on Ukraine has raged for more than 3 years. But now...
Radhika Yadav's autopsy report is out. Her report reveals Radhika was shot 3 times, died due to excessive blood loss. Witness Harpal Kaur Bedi identifies Jagdish Titler in 1984 riots case. Witness says on the day of the riots, Titler was seen arriving at Gurudwara Pul Bangash area in white ambassador car with others. NSA Ajit Dawal hails success of Operation Sindur. He says India decimated 9 Pakistani terror dens, challenging Pakistan to show proof of damage. Anger against Kangana Ranaut in Mandi after her statement that she has no funds for the flood hit Mandi. Maharashtra Minister Sanjay seen smoking with bag full of cash next to him. Shocking video surfaces day after IT notice served. The mastermind of UP conversion racket Changur Baba has been arrested by UP STF.
Co-powered by Century Ply Club Prime. Raho befikar.
पैसा लगाना है तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं जाएगा, धोखा नहीं देगा, ऊपर नीचे भी नहीं होगा, सेफ रहेगा, सिक्योर्ड में मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
The reason we've launched the Nationalist Collective is because we believe it is time now for a group of ideologically driven Indians to drive the destiny of our country. For far too long, people who have had interests inimical to national interest have held sway. We need to put nationalism first, nation first. The Nationalist Collective is a very clear and sharp movement, presents the spirit of a new India which stands by what is right, does what is right, and raises its voice for what is right. Remember, this country is safe only if it is in the hands of nationalists. This country will grow.
25-year-old Radhika killed by her father in cold blood. Social media reels, daughter's income, societal pressure. An argument, fit of rage, and 3 gunshots in the back. Debating tonight at 8 p.m. Kangna makes bizarre remarks in disaster-hit Mandi. No cabinet